What's going on, guys? It's Jordan back today with today's first video. And in today's first video, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin because at the end of the day, guys, that's going to tell us what is going on with the altcoins, all right? We're going to take a look at the hourly, the 4-hour, the daily, and the weekly to see if we have any clues on what is going on with Bitcoin in the short, medium, and long term. So if that's going to do, you guys are new to the channel, end up enjoying today's content. As always, press the subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my 2 daily uploads and my daily live streams. All right, so let's jump straight on into the hourly chart here and not waste any more of your guys' time. So you guys can see here on the hourly chart, we did have an inverse head and shoulders that was forming for Bitcoin on the hourly, right? We had our left shoulder, our head, and our right shoulder. And our neckline was kind of this horizontal, vertical, whatever you want to call it, neckline here. And we actually did break that up to the upside. Now, our measure move out of this head and shoulders, right? If we were to continue to the upside, and that's a big if right now, as we broke out right there, brings us perfectly to this about $58,100 area, which is also our previous high back here. And, we wicked up to it right here as well. So that's our next target here on the hourly chart. Now, guys, this isn't confirmed to me just yet because you actually look at the volume. We haven't got that big spike of volume that we look for when we break out of these patterns, right? It's not confirmed unless you see that big volume breakout, and we just didn't have it there. But what's important here, really, other than the measure move target, is we want to get above this 50 EMA on the 1 hour. You can see it's so big in a short-term sense, right? You can see it was our support all the way on this recent move up here. And then before we dip back down, we came back to it twice, and then we dip down straight to it. So this is my big short-term indicators. If we can get back above this 51-hour EMA, I do expect us to at least retest 58,100. And there's another target, another price level that we need to break, in my opinion, in order to continue up to the upside in the short term. What also pushed us up here, guys, we did have bullish divergence on the hourly. You can see our hourly got super oversold down here, guys. And we made higher lows on the RSI and lower lows in price action here at that same point, which did push us up to the upside. Let's see if we get continued upside action there. But usually when that hourly gets oversold, it usually ends up being a relative local bottom before at least a decent bounce back to the upside. Now, it doesn't have to last too long, as we saw back here. It was only a little bit of a little dead cat bounce to the upside before dumping again. So it doesn't mean that this is going to be our complete reversal, but it definitely could be in the short term. Now, let's jump on to the 4-hour, and a couple different things on the 4-hour, right? We have this 24-hour EMA, which is very, very big as well. It's very similar to the 51-hour, where in a short-term sense, I do want us to get back above that. You can see, scrolling back out, guys, how big this 4-hour EMA is. Looking left here, you can see it was our support, right? We dumped back below it, retested as resistance. It kept us resistance all the way down before we get back above it, dump below it again, and then it was our support all the way up before dumping through it again. So this is really what I'm looking for in the medium term, is if we can get back above this 24-hour EMA, I do expect us to 100% to come back up to retest 58,100 and see what happens there. Now, we can go back above it and come back down below it, right? As you can see back here, we made that W pattern, right? We went above it, came back down below it, and then we moved out to the upside. So even if we break back above it, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to stay above it. It could just be us going back up to that 100 EMA, coming back down here, and then continuing up and maybe making kind of a W pattern as well, coming up to the 4-hour. Now, that's obviously purely speculation at this point, but I just wanted to keep you guys that in mind. Now, let's look at the daily chart real quick as too, guys. We have our daily support band, right, which is our 20-day and our 50-day. Medium term, this is such a big critical support level. You can see really ever since October of 2020, this has kept us up where we either come back down to that 20-day EMA, which is the orange line, or the 50-day EMA, which is the blue line, and we've been holding that ever since. And you can see right on today, guys, we wicked right to that 20-day EMA right here. You can see we wick right back to it and then pop back up. Now, it is possible we can go below it, right? Our last 2 dips, we did go below that 20-day EMA. But why I think we could see a relative support of where we are right now, or a relative sideways even, is we are maybe forming on the daily chart this rising wedge, right? Where you can see we got only 2 touches on the top. So the top is not 100% confirmed yet. But you can see, guys, on the bottom, We have now came back down to it once, right? Came back down to it twice, pumped back up, came back to it 3 times, and now we just wicked back to the bottom again. So will this continue to play out? We'll have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait to see if we get one more touch on the top, or likely just hopefully break back up to the top. But it is possible we could break down from this, and a breakdown from this could bring us back to 40,000 levels that we saw previously. But we're not going to talk about that just yet, right? Our 50-day EMA currently stands at about 47,800. So I think medium term, that's really where the bottom could necessarily be in the medium term on the daily chart. Okay, now let's quickly let's look at one more thing on the daily. You can see this. Let me just scroll in here. There we go. You can see this green line here on the, it's on the daily chart. Never mind, guys. We're going to look at that on the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, right, we have our 10-week EMA, which has been our big support in this bull market so far. We haven't had a weekly close below it, except one time in the beginning of September. But other than that, we usually come back down and back test that in each one of our dips. Now, that currently stands at about 47,000. So we could technically still come back down to 47,000 and still be in a relatively bullish trend. Now, you guys might say that that's crazy, right? We can't go down to 47,000. It's definitely possible, right? It's definitely possible. We haven't come back down and fully retested that in a good minute. We came down really, really close to it right here, but we wicked above it. But we haven't actually came back down and retested it in a very long time. So that's definitely possible. Also, guys, on our weekly chart, you can see our RSI is cooling down pretty nicely, right? We're back down almost into normal levels, right around a 70 on the RSI. And, could we come back down to this green support line? You can see in 2017, right, we always, on all our dips, we came back down to back test that. And we did it a couple times in 2020 as well, but we haven't came back down to back test that level just yet. So will we come back down to back test that on the RSI? Well, it's certainly possible. And if we don't, that could mean we're starting the bubble territory. If you guys know in my last video, I did talk about, if Bitcoin starts to make higher lows on the RSI continuously, like it did in 2017 here once, twice on its dips, right? That could indicate that we're getting to that extreme bubble territory, where we start seeing those higher lows on the RSI as we really start moving up and get into that bubble territory. But not saying that's going to happen yet. Not saying it's going to happen yet. And this doesn't have to play out. It's just something that I noticed that most dips come back down to back test that about 55 on the RSI, guys, moving all the way up. But that's really the update on Bitcoin today, guys. Make sure you guys watch if we get back above this 50 1-hour EMA, which is approximately at 56,500 right now. And obviously our 4-hour 20 EMA, which is at approximately about 56,900 at the moment. This one's a little more important. If we break this 4-hour one, we could be seeing price action at least back up to 58,100. All right, guys. So that's the video on Bitcoin today. I will be coming out with the second upload shortly after this one. So make sure if you're new, you smack the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my content. If you guys are already subscribed, smack that like button for me, and I'll see you guys in the next upload and the live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys.